first of all, we should conclude that we in the West, I don't speak about the Baltic states or Poland, but we in the West were blind as hell. We didn't see, or we didn't want to see, what happened in Georgia during the Olympic Games. We didn't want to see what happened to Moldova and Transnistria. And we didn't really want to see what happened in Ukraine. And there was one terrible eye-opener, a wake-up call, MH17. I come from the Netherlands. Around 200 people had a Dutch passport, about 100 people had other passports. And only at that moment, politicians around Europe said, hey, something is happening there. It will take probably a few months, but then we have two independent investigations, one of the Prosecutor General in the Netherlands, one of the Safety Board. These instances cannot be manipulated, so I'm very much eager to know what they will tell. I don't know, but I have a feeling that their findings will be of utmost importance. So we should close also the idea of Francis Fukuyama, the end of history. There is no end of history. It is not a nice period if we only have economic competition and that we love each other and that military power has no role to play. So we should do one thing, to say to Mr. Putin, you have to return to international law. That is first and foremost to respect the independence of the countries like Ukraine, like Moldova, Georgia, and the other countries. There is no near abroad. It's unacceptable. That principle does not exist. And we have to have facts, many facts. These reports are factual, and we have many other facts. And we should not go to appeasement, because I see today that a lot of governments say, well, this conflict has taken too much time, it's bad for our economy. Yes, it's bad for our economy, yes. It's easy for me to say, but there are people in agriculture, in industry, who lose money, yes. But it's much worse if Putin gets his way, because then it means that a big country, a great nation, because the Russians are a great nation, but they are ruled not by a great leader, that country, being part of the Security Council, that country can do what it wants. Land grab, repression, and this is a quite nice example for other countries, and we know all of them who have oppressional regimes. So it's in our best interest to say no to Putin and to accept that the sanctions have to stay. Only when the situation on the ground is different, if it's worse, we have to have more sanctions. If Putin would be that wise to come with concrete steps, for instance, that Ukraine may patrol its own borders and that we help Ukraine with that, that would be a very concrete step. Only then we can look at the sanctions. There is no quick fix. That's what we in the West want, a very quick fix. We have been debating this for a year, so now over to business as usual. That's impossible. It will be a long time conflict with Putin until he and his regime collapse, like the Soviet regime has collapsed. That Cold War, because we're in a Cold War, let's recognize that. And in a Cold War, you can have relations with Russian people, with Russian politicians of goodwill. We can invite academics and students. Those things can and should be done. But we should be crystal clear to the regime and those who support the regime, there is no business as usual. And what we should do indeed is to support Ukraine. There was a discussion about Greece. I don't want to enter this discussion, but we should support Ukraine. With military support, yes. With weapons, yes. With a NATO that is vigilant on the borders, making a forward advance, having troops in the Baltic states and in Poland, so that they know there is a tripwire. We can't accept aggression from the east. Yes, we have to support Georgia. We have to support Moldova and other countries of goodwill. And we should not think that what happens in the Crimea cannot happen in Estonia, to call a country. I mean, you don't need much money to find a few people who want to make disturbance, and then to say we have to help fellow countrymen. So there is indeed only one way, based on facts, that is to make it extremely difficult for Mr. Putin, who is not a great leader, and to give Russia a position of a great nation which it should have, which respects international borders, which works together with colleagues in other countries, and which is a real strategic partner. And for that, we have to be strong. Thank you very much.